What's good, everybody? It's your boy Tony Teton West back again with another episode with my co-host Cam on the Cam and T podcast. My brother Cam, how you doing today, man?
Chilling, bro. As always, living it up. You feel me?
Yeah,
Living it up. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm really good, bro. At this point, man, just we here. We was talking about this a little bit before the pod. Like, we really at that point of the year now. It's football season. Like I watched the whole high school football game on Friday. It was amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
That Carrollton versus Langston Hughes, that was a great game. So we like fully into the college football season. So that's exciting. I'm super excited about that. But yeah, it's still like we're not fully in, so it's a little frustrating too as well. Like me and you was just kind of talking about, like I'm ready for it to be full on football season. We back, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready to
yeah,
get to it, man. So yeah, bro, extremely excited and just ready to get the season on and popping, man. That's really where I'm at with it at this point, man.
yeah. I feel you, man. I'm the same way. It's like we so close. You know what I mean? We just gotta hold out just for a
Yeah,
couple more weeks, man.
it's a couple more
And
weeks, bro.
yeah, really a couple more days.
Days, yeah,
Um, but man, we can just make it there, man. I'm excited to get into the grind of it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the
for
weekend,
sure.
week out. You know what I'm saying? That's really to me it's the best part of the year, you
Yeah.
know. Just football season, man. So I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah, man. I'm extremely excited for the season. Extremely just ready, man. Just ready to get everything going. I do want to kind of just give a rundown of everything we got planned this month. And then we'll go ahead and kind of talk about what we're gonna be talking about in the show today. And if y'all could go ahead, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, get in here, get the likes up, and let's get this thing rolling. But yeah, man, I think one of the things I wanted to kind of cover is we know college football is back soon. We're gonna talk a lot about that today. Week one will be in Charlotte, September the 2nd. We will be in Charlotte at the Charlotte, the UNC versus South Carolina game. We'll be doing interviews out there like we did for the Panthers training camp game. So come out there, show us love. We'd love to talk to y'all. We got we're gonna be out there just asking questions. So we got a lot planned for that. Excuse me. The week after that, literally, September the 10th, we'll be in Atlanta at Mercedes Benz for the Panthers and Falcons game. We'll be doing the same thing, interviewing. And I know my Panther fans gonna show up, but I actually want to get some Falcon fans in the content as well. So definitely gonna be excited about that. So that's kind of what we got going on the next couple weeks. It's gonna be busy, but we're excited. We're glad to have football back. So that's kind of the rundown on what's happening this week. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what the show is going to kind of be about today. So today's show is going to focus a lot on college football. It's going to be a big college football day on here. We're going to talk about the college football power rankings. The AP polls just came out, I think, last Monday. So we'll talk about that a little bit, where we might would place guys and teams and stuff like that. We'll talk about some possible who might be a Heisman winner, maybe a comeback player of the year, whatever the case may be, or bust out player of the year. We'll talk about that a little bit. Then also as well, we're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers had another kind of rough week. So we'll talk about that first. And should we start to worry? And mainly about the offense. So we'll touch on that, and that's kind of gonna be the show today. So it's probably gonna be a shorter show because next week we'll actually be talking about games. We got USC. They're playing. I think they're playing San Jose State next weekend. That's going to be, it's not going to be a great game, but it's going to still be something worth watching. USC has a lot of hype behind them. Caleb Williams is coming off the Heisman year, so we'll talk about that. And then also as well, Notre Dame as well plays Navy next week. So we actually have football games coming, Cam. So that's the great thing about this all. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the Panthers real quick. Let's just go ahead and get it out the way. The Carolina Panthers lose another preseason game. They did look better. 21-19. They did put up points, especially in the second half. Um, and the starting offense again was just not really good. Let me ask you this, Cam. Is it time to start worrying about the Carolina Panthers offense mainly? Is it time to start worrying at this point? After two lackluster preseason offensive performances, is it time to start getting kind of a little concerned at this point?
Um, I would say I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm gonna say no is because once again, it's a first year head coach on the team. Well, first year for us, what I'm saying, and Frank Wright. Obviously you got the rookie quarterback, and you got a devastating injury on that offensive line with Austin Corbett being out at right guard. We haven't seen Miles Sanders at all this preseason. Obviously he's going to be RB1, and he's probably going to be the focal point of our offense this upcoming season. I think you can make the argument that he's probably the best player on the offense right now.
Yeah.
And so I would say since we haven't seen him and what we actually can do on offense, I'm going to say no. Um, but I will say there is cause for concern, and there is some alarm that needs to be raised among that offensive line and kind of among that wide receiver core as well. So let me start with the offensive line real quick. And first and foremost, Iki Kwanu is in his second year. So far in the preseason, he might be set up for a second year slump, a sophomore slump. I'm not gonna panic for his career. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's over. We need to be looking to get a
Yeah.
legitimate left tackle. I still think he's gonna be the left tackle of the future for the Carolina Panthers. But he's still in his second season. He's super young. He's only 22 years old. He'll be 23 this upcoming season. Um, and I think ultimately he's got a lot of potential.
Mhm.
And it's just gonna take some time. Left guard spot, Brady Christensen. I think he's got the job locked down. I'm not really worried about Brady myself. I know a lot of Panthers fans kind of think he's the weak link among the offensive line, but there are other issues that are more prevalent than Brady Christensen at left guard. At center, Bradley Bozeman, he's gonna, be our center for years to come. He's solid in the up the middle. And then right guard is really where the issue is, right? Taylor Moton at right tackle is fine. Really don't need to dive into that. But right guard is where I'm a little worried about. And I know you can agree to this too, man. Like Austin Corbett being out is probably going to be what hurts the Panthers early on in the season.
Mhm.
And depending on how long it takes for him to come back from injury, it could be, the difference between winning and losing. The difference
Right.
between the difference between the offense scoring points or not scoring points, right? The difference
Right.
between a 3 and out and a touchdown, you know. So ultimately, if the Panthers can figure out what to do at right guard, you know what I mean? Cade Mays may not be the option, or excuse me, may not be the answer. Chandler Zavala, maybe he is, maybe he is. He's also a rookie. If the Panthers can figure out how to square away that right guard position until Austin Corbett gets back, they'll be fine. But until then, it's gonna be they're gonna be in trouble. Bryce Young is gonna be in a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much took everything I was going to say. I mean, like I said, I think the O line, it's been some struggles. I don't like seeing Icky getting beat on just regular, regular little tricks.
Yeah,
So that is a little concerning. But once again, it's still preseason, so I don't want to be too like, oh, it's the end of the world. I don't want to go too far into that. And I think you said the point I've been trying to tell people since April. This Panther wide receiving core is not good. It's not.
yeah,
It's not good. It's just not. And I talked about this a little bit on Friday when the game ended. We have a 33-year-old Adam Thielen that's pretty much like almost washed. Let's just be honest here. We have DJ Chark that's really only had one really good season. Besides that, he's been a mediocre average guy. He's been just a guy pretty much the majority of his career.
mhm,
Then you have LaVisca Chenault that can only run one route. This little swing real route that he runs, that's the only route he can run. Let's just be honest. He can't run routes. He's more of like a running back, really, more than anything. Then on top of that, you have Jonathan Mingo, who's a rookie. And then you have Terrence Marshall, who's also kind of a right now just a guy, and he can't stay healthy. Now he did play good down the stretch last season. We talked about that a couple podcasts ago. He did play good coming down the stretch of the season, but it's I don't know if it's going to be wide receiver one material to have him be such an impact on the game. I just don't see that for the Panthers
right,
personally.
right.
Um, So I think this wide receiving core sucks. I think it's a bottom 5 group. I think it's right down there with the Texans, right down there with the Falcons, right down there with the Giants. It's right down there with all of them. So I think the wide receiving core is almost as to me almost more of a problem than the O-line because they can't get separation. I don't know if you watched that game on Friday. The wide receiver ones were getting no sep, none.
Right.
It was nasty work. Like they wasn't getting no separation at all. So you got to really take that in contention and really think about that because Adam Thielen washed. I mean, that's just the truth. Like he's just an older guy now. It just is what it is. So I think my concern more so is the wide receiving core. Like in my personal opinion, that's what I'm more so concerned about.
Yeah. And I think, ultimately, as the season progresses, we'll see what what happens with that wide receiver core if Terrace Marshall or Jonathan Mingo are going to step up and become, that wide receiver of the future. But I agree. I don't think this wide receiver core is something that, teams should be raving about. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a solid core. Like it could be a whole lot worse. But at the same time, there is no one guy that's going to step up and be, that guy. We don't think so, right? At this moment in time, we haven't seen it yet. But I will say that that once again the team is going to run the ball mostly. It seems like this is
It's
going
gonna
to
be a
be a
run
team
first
that runs
offense
the
for
ball.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a team that runs the ball. We're going to get our yards. We're going to get our touchdowns on the ground. I'm expecting a solid year from Bryce Young. And when I say solid, I mean no turnovers, right? Well, we're gonna have turnovers, but no turnovers that kill the team. And I think he's gonna have like a modest touchdown amount, right? Um, but ultimately, I think the offense is gonna be okay. I do still believe in Frank Wright. Um, but once again, when you look at Frank Wright's career, to my knowledge, especially in Indy, they didn't really have a great wide receiver core either there.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It was a bunch of wide
Just
receiver
yeah.
2s and 3s.
Yep.
Yeah, guys that can, they can make plays, they can get catches, but you don't have no alpha dog, somebody that you gonna just target the ball to. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
even
That
Pittman,
need all
man,
that volume.
on most teams, man, Michael Pittman is a wide receiver too. Just to
Yeah,
be honest, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't think he's that good in my opinion. I
I
mean,
don't really either
no
personally.
no offense, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
no offense to
Right.
him. Like I'm not saying he a scrub, but like I don't think he ain't nobody to put no fear in nobody's heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like, so ultimately, we'll see as the season goes along. Like you said, I agree. I think offensive line and wide receiver are really the main two things that we need to be looking at. I'm impressed with the running backs. I think all three of them are solid. I know a lot of people, I think we need to give a shout out to Blackshear because he's
Yeah.
definitely looking like he's gonna be, in line for a lot of plays this upcoming season. So, um, but yeah, man, I think I'm not ready to call it quits on the offense yet. But I am a little concerned. We put it that way.
Yeah, and I think this guy kind of said it perfectly. I am Jaylon. He said, I think they'll probably scheme a lot of guys open in the passing game. That's what they're going to have to do because
Yeah,
not trying to be rude, none of these guys are really that talented. I think
yeah,
my guy Christopher Lewis said it earlier. Mingo is probably the one with the most potential on this team.
hmm
That catch he made where he bounced off the guy, that looked real DJ Moore-ish. Like that looked just
yeah,
like DJ Moore. I was like, man, that and I think me and shout out to Lord. Shout out to my guy. He was on the pod with us. Somebody we was just talking about this on Twitter anyway. But we was just talking about how that play looked very similar. Monty. It was me and Monty. Monty from the 4-man rush. Shout out to him. He was the one saying, like, man, this looks like DJ Moore all over again. I was like, man, he put a video beside the two, and it was like the same movements, the same. So I was like, yeah, this is very similar to what we've seen with DJ Moore. So I think he does have the most potential. But yeah, the Panthers are going to have to scheme guys open. That's the only way they're going to really have success as far as passing the ball
yeah,
because they just don't have the athletes as far as wide receiver wise that are going to really put any fear in anybody, like kind of what Cam said.
yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty much that. I do kind of wonder what we'll see this week, with it being the last week of the preseason. And then on top of that, they actually play the Lions like pretty early in the season.
Mhm.
So if you thought things were vanilla before, they're probably going to be even more vanilla this week. They probably won't show nothing, honestly. So I kind of wonder how much like the starters are going to play too, because once again, this is the team they're going to see probably in like what, about a month and a half,
Yeah.
2 months. So I mean, they're going to see this team again pretty soon. So I kind of wonder, will they not show their hand that much against the Lions? So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a full Matt Corral game against the
Yeah,
Lions.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised either.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised. I think you might get, at most, you might get one series out of Bryce Young at most.
yeah,
But I think it's gonna be another Matt Corral game.
yeah.
Um, and because we're still looking at, is he gonna even excuse me, is he gonna be on the team, right? Like
Right,
we're still thinking about if we're gonna
mm,
trade him or not.
right.
Um so yeah, I think ultimately, we should wait until Atlanta week 1 for the kind of the
Full-on
causes.
starters. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. To see, is this offense really anemic, or is this just that vanilla play calling that Frank
Right.
Reich is talking about? But
Yeah.
I do want to say, like you said, the second half offenses look very good. To be honest with you, it's looked a lot better than that first half offense, and I think that's in part to Thomas Brown's play calling. You know what I mean? So the Panthers, for those of y'all listening, Frank Reich calls the plays in the first half. Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays in the second half.
Yep.
I don't know how that's going to work throughout the season. Maybe the Panthers are trying to figure out, whether it's going to be Reich, whether it's going to be Brown. I know, kind of before the season, before the even training camp, when we were kind of finalizing the coaching staff, there was talks that Reich and Brown were going to kind of share the play calling duties.
Yep.
But maybe they shouldn't share them. Maybe it should be all Thomas Brown right now. From that's how I'm seeing things. Because the offense just seems to play with a little bit more sense of urgency in the second half. I like the play calling. But once again, it could just be Frank Reich, just hiding his cards, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be something as simple as that. So, Christopher Lewis asked, "How hurt is Andy Dalton? We ain't seen him at all this preseason." I don't know if Dalton is actually hurt or if he's
He's not.
just.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
think they're
Dalton
just
is
holding
really
him
hurt.
out.
I think it's kind of I've been in the league for 12 years. There's no reason for me to be playing preseason football, which is
Yeah,
correct.
and,
He
and
says it's they got to put something on the injury report. So I think they were
yeah,
saying quote unquote back strain or something like that. I don't think
yeah,
he's really hurt. I think he's just kind of like, I'm not playing preseason football at this point in
yeah,
my career, and I don't blame him. To
yeah.
be
He'll
honest.
he'll suit up for week 1.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they just holding him out for preseason, and I think it's good reason for that. So Dalton doesn't need the reps that the other quarterbacks on the
No.
team needs,
Yeah.
right? Like that's one thing I will say that Reich is doing better than the previous regime. He's giving the guys that need reps the reps. You know
Reps.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Dalton, he's going to be your backup quarterback this year. God forbid Bryce Young goes down for any reason, or God forbid Bryce Young just ain't ready for the moment yet. You got
Yeah.
to put Dalton in there. You know what I'm saying? So you just don't want him to be hurt going into the season. So I think that's really what's going down. He might be dealing with something like an injury, but I don't think he's actually hurt enough to where he's
No.
actually out. I think he's just resting from the
Yeah.
preseason
Yeah. I don't
during the
think that.
preseason.
Yeah, I think that's more so like a precaution at this point. I don't
Yeah.
think that's really like, oh, he's hurt situation. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on into college football. I mean, we're here. We talked about this earlier. Next week, I mean, we have football games that will be on Saturday that actually mean something. So we're getting to that point now where it's fully college football season. We're excited. It's officially here. I mean, y'all know me. College football is my favorite sport. Period. Anyway, so next week we got Navy versus Notre Dame, and then we have San Jose State against USC. Those are the two kind of bigger games that everybody's probably going to be watching next Saturday. Um, so Cam, do you want to go over the rankings first of what the AP poll has put out, and then we just give our synopsis? Do you want to just kind of just go over each of them?
Yeah, so I figured what we can do, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go through the rankings.
Okay.
If you got it pulled up, if not, I can find
I
it
got it
real quick.
pulled up here. So I
Okay,
have
yeah.
the top 25 AP pulled up. I'm gonna run through it real quick of each team and we'll kind of break it down from there, maybe where we would put these teams.
You
Um,
want to share your screen? You got it.
yeah, actually, yeah, let's do that. Actually, I'll share my screen. Also, first, I'll actually pull it up because I have pulled up on my phone here. So I'm actually gonna
Okay.
run through the teams first, and then I'll also pull it up on my screen and share it as well.
Okay, bet.
But okay, let's go ahead and go through the rankings. So these are the AP rankings as of right now. For the college football season going into the year top 25. So at number one, unanimously, pretty much, they received 60 votes. UGA, of course. So at number one, UGA. Number two, Michigan. Number three, Ohio State. Number four, Alabama. Number five, LSU. Number six, USC. Number seven, Penn State. Number eight, Florida State. Number nine, Clemson. Number 10, Washington. Number 11, Texas. Number 12, Tennessee. Number 13, Notre Dame. At number 14, we have Utah. At number 15, we have Oregon. At 16, we have Kansas State. At 17, we have TCU. At 18, we have Oregon State. At 19, we have Wisconsin. At 20, we have Oklahoma. At 21, we have UNC. And at 22, we have Ole Miss. 23, we have Texas A&M. I don't even know why they're on here. We'll jump into that in a minute. At 25, we have Tulane. And at 24, we have Tulane, excuse me. And at 25, we have Iowa. And then the top people receiving votes, which you can kind of say are 26 and 27 and 28. Pretty much 26 is Texas Tech. 26 is Texas Tech, 27 is South Carolina, 28 is UCLA. So I'll kind of stop there. So that's kind of what the AP poll is right now. And I'm actually gonna pull it up on my screen. So for the viewers that are watching this now on YouTube and continue to subscribe to the channel on YouTube as well, they can also see it. So those are pretty much the rankings. Let's kind of go through this thing one through one, Kim, because we said we kind of want to build our own, top 25. So at number one, best team in the country, Georgia. I don't think nobody's going to argue that. I don't think
Yeah.
even a Georgia Tech fan at this point would argue that. That's just
Yeah.
what it is. Like, I think everybody pretty much knows they are the number one team in the country. And let me know when you can see my screen here.
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So we have Georgia at number one. Let's go over the Georgia thing. Do you have a problem with this, or you think this is pretty spot on?
Nah, I like Georgia at one. Here, what I'm gonna do too, real quick. I'm gonna write down since we gonna build our own top 25. I'm gonna write
Yep.
down who should be on ours. So yeah, number
Okay.
one, I like that. Hold on, let me see. Can we share our screen at the same time, or is it just one?
I think it only allows one. You can try, but I think it only allows one.
Let me see.
Yeah, but I think it only allows one as of right now. But I think, like I said, while you're figuring that out, I think Georgia at number one. I don't think nobody would argue that at this point. I think the discussion starts at number two, in my opinion. For me, or three. Some people might even say three.
Right.
So let me know if you can get that share screen up. If not, I'll go ahead and keep continuing to share mine.
Yeah, I can't. It's all
I
good.
think it's only one. Okay. So then at number two, we have Michigan. They received 2 votes for number one. For me, I like this. I think Michigan is the second best team in the country right now. Then you could make an argument for Ohio State, but they have beat Ohio State and they have less questions than Ohio State. So I have Michigan at number two as well on my board of where I would have them ranked. So what
I
about
agree.
you?
I agree. Everything you just said, I agree. I think
Okay.
yeah. I think Michigan, they're returning their quarterback, McCarthy. He's got a lot of experience. He's got college football playoff experience. Really, he's the most experienced quarterback. Really, out of all, you could really say out of the top 5 teams right
Top
there.
4, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's got the most experience there. So I would say McCarthy, and then obviously they got arguably the best running back duo in the country in Blake Corum and Edwards. So
Yep.
so Michigan is, I would say they're definitely number 2 for me right now.
Yep. I agree. At number 3, you have Ohio State. Now they have a lot of questions, obviously, at the quarterback. Have they even? I don't even think they named their starting quarterback yet. I don't think.
Not that I know of.
Um, so yeah, Ohio State at number 3, but that we already know they're stacked at wide receiver. They're pretty much stacked at every other position on the field, but
Yeah.
quarterback. And they're really even stacked there for real. We just don't know who's really
Who's
going to
it?
be the
Yeah.
guy going forward. But Ohio State at number 3, I don't have a problem with that. That's probably where I would put them as well. I think at number 3, I would probably place Ohio State where they're actually located.
Yeah, I agree. Once again, really it's just who's gonna play quarterback for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who is even on their list? Like who they got, who they decided between.
So they're
It's three.
decided between Devin Brown and Cal McCord. Now, Cal McCord was Marvin Harrison Jr.'s high school quarterback. So they already
Okay.
kind of have that chemistry. I don't know who's winning that camp right now. And if it's a Ohio State fan in the comment section, please let us know because they seem to be everywhere. So if there is Ohio State fan somewhere, you can let me know who's kind of leading that race. But from what I know, it's kind of been pretty much kind of like hush hush. Nobody
Okay.
has really said much about it. So
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much where we stand on that. Now, next we have Alabama at 4. This is where I'm going to disagree. I think
Mhm.
LSU is better than Alabama. I do.
Mhm.
I think LSU should be the number 4 team in the country, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I would probably put Alabama at 5, but with them having to bring in Buckner from Notre Dame, and he's not even good. The fact that they had to bring him in already tells me they don't know what they're doing at quarterback.
Yeah.
They if they brought him in as an option, Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson must suck. Like I'm
Mhm.
just gonna be straight up. Like they must be pretty far off from being ready. And Tommy Reese was his OC at Notre Dame, and Tommy Reese is really not that great of an OC either. I
Mhm.
think Alabama probably should be at 5 on this list personally.
Yeah. What we looking at? Yeah, I would say number 4 for me. I would go LSU. Once again, the experience
Yep.
is a factor. They got one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, and Jaden Daniels. Um, so yeah, I would probably put LSU at 4. At 5 for me, I would probably go USC to be honest with you at
So
5.
you would go USC over Bama.
Yeah, I would say USC over Bama right now, and it's really just because
Ooh, that's hot.
USC just got the best quarterback in the country, man.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
But that
I
defense
just
is
think when you,
garbage, though.
huh?
That defense is garbage, though. That's the only reason I can't put them over Bama.
I just think when you returning, such an elite quarterback like that, you know what I mean? Because we don't know what Alabama's offense is gonna look like. They could be anemic this year. You see
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
Like their offense could be as bad as USC's defense. We just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So I would say I would put USC at 5 just because of Caleb Williams alone. Then I would put Alabama at 6. And this is no disrespect to Alabama. I just think that these are really good teams right here. Like this top 6, I can see any of these teams going home with a national championship come
Yeah,
January.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
um so that's no disrespect to Alabama. I think college football this year is going to be really good because I think there's more teams that are in
Yeah.
contention for a college football playoff berth. But yeah, I will put Alabama at 6.
Mm.
But who do you have? So you have Alabama at 5, and you
I'm
got
gonna keep Alabama at 5. And I'm putting USC at 6 because, like you just
okay,
said, they do have the best quarterback in the game. I don't
yeah,
think nobody's arguing that at this point. That defense is my main concern. That they did pick up Bear Alexander, but I'm still super concerned about that defense. They're just not
yeah,
really good. At 7, they have Penn State. I'm gonna be honest. I actually like this ranking. I probably would
mhm,
put Penn State right at 7. They're super loaded. Penn State has a really good running back room, with led by Nick Singleton. They finally have a quarterback that's actually worth something in Drew Ayers. That linebacking core is probably the third best linebacking core in the country. They have one of the top D lines in the country. I think they're top 4, right up there with like Georgia, Clemson, Florida State. They're right up there with them. I think Penn State at 7 is magnificent. I think that's exactly where they need to be at.
yeah. I won't argue there. I won't disagree. Like you said, they're returning a lot and they've got experience. So I would agree. Penn
Yep.
State can stay at 7.
Yep. So at 8, they have Florida State. Now, here's where I go into a tangent. Florida State, it's good. I'm not being a homer. I'm being straight up. Florida State's going to be a really good team this year. And the ACC is literally going to come down to Clemson and Florida State. I don't think nobody's even trying to argue that. I don't even think the teams that are playing are trying to argue that. They know it's coming down to Clemson and Florida State. So let me go ahead and say that here. I do not understand the Florida State hype over Clemson when they have not beat them in a decade. It's been a decade since they beat Clemson. The last time they beat Clemson was 2014. It is 2023. We're going on 9 years that they have not beat Clemson. And pretty much the majority of that time, Clemson has smoked them. Like the games haven't been close. So I don't really understand. Even last year, like people say, oh, well, Florida State came back. Clemson was up 34-10 in the fourth quarter and said, okay, we're bored. Let's let them come on back.
Yeah. They
That
put their
game was
starters out.
over. Yeah, they pulled the starters and everything. Like that game was Jover. It was over with, bro. So I really don't understand like the Florida State hype. You look at the last 7 games they won that everybody's hyping them up against. They played a bunch of nobodies. Nobodies. Literally. They didn't play not one ranked team on the way to winning all those games. I don't really understand why Florida State is getting this, oh, they're going to make the playoffs hype. I don't see it personally. I think they're going to win 9 or 10 games, but I don't understand the hype of they're going to be a national championship contender. They're going to be, and I know they bring up a lot back and all that. That's great. But I'm telling you, last year, when Florida State played against ranked teams, Cam, guess how many times they won?
Give it to me.
0. They beat 0. They were 0-3 last year against ranked teams. 0-3. They lost to NC State with a hurt team. They lost to Wake Forest. And that was after Wake Forest had lost to Clemson dejectively. And then they lost to Clemson. Yeah. And I think 2 of those games were at home, Wake and Clemson. They lost to them in Tallahassee. So I don't really understand the hype on Florida State and why they're getting this, they're better than Clemson hype. I would probably have Florida State at maybe 10, to be honest. I would probably put Washington above them as well because I'm high on them. So I would probably go at this point, I would go at 8 Clemson, at 9 Washington, at 10 Florida State.
So I would do, I agree. I would go Clemson at 8. I'm right there with you. What's good, Doug? But I would go Clemson at 8 for sure. 9, me personally, I would probably go. You see, you said you had who at 9? Washington.
I had Washington at 9.
I would probably go. I'm gonna give Florida State the nod at 9 because I am one of those believers. To be honest with you, I think that I think Jordan Travis is a solid quarterback, especially in college. I think he's one of the top. In my opinion, I think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the land. I think they got a solid wide receiver core. And they brought back my man at edge rusher. What's my man name?
Jared
He's slipping my mind. Jared Verse, thank you.
Yep.
They brought back Jared Verse. I think there's a lot of hype to be had with Florida State. Now, I will say that I think the Clemson, the Florida State over Clemson hype is a little too. They overdoing it a little too much.
Yeah.
Because like I said, all those people that I just named were there last year. You see what I'm saying? And Clemson is looking to be better than they were last year. So I don't see how Florida State is going to be better than Clemson this year. But I do think they're going to be a really good team. I think they're gonna make it through the season with at least 10 wins. And so I will put Florida State at 9. And you say you got Washington at 9.
Yeah.
And then at 10, see, this is where they get me. At 10, I would actually put, because I don't know much about Washington. I'll be honest with you. I don't know nothing about Pac-12 football. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough to get out there and watch them boys. I know they solid. I know they had a really good season last year, especially later on in the season. And I know they're bringing back Michael Penix, or Penix Jr. Um, so I would probably put at for me at 10. I'm actually gonna go with Tennessee though.
Okay, yeah, you've been high on Tennessee this whole off season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee at 10, and I just don't think that one season last year. I don't think it was a fluke. Now,
Right,
will they be as good as they were last season? Probably not. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But I do think they're a tough opponent. Um, I think what I seen from their quarterback last year in the Orange Bowl against Clemson, I mean, he pretty much decimated us. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And I know he's been in school about 6 years now, but yeah, man, I just think that Tennessee offense is very quarterback friendly.
yeah,
I think they can turn him. There's a good chance that they're going to turn him into an NFL quarterback, and I just think ultimately, I think Tennessee deserves that respect to at least be a top 10 university
yeah.
right now.
Okay. So let's move on to so we're down now. We pretty much finished out 9 and 10. So at
Mhm.
11 they have Texas. I am big on Texas this year. I kind of like
Yeah.
that. I know a lot of people are like Texas is always overrated, but I think at 11 I probably would go Tennessee like you said. I think that offense is completely super friendly. I like the Tennessee offense a lot. I think it's going to be really good. And I'm going to bring the share screen back up in a second here. But
Okay.
I think that I think Tennessee, Josh Heupel has did such a great job just recruiting and also as well just being able to pretty much establish one of the most intriguing offenses in college football. Like any offense, any quarterback that steps into that offense is going to have a lot of success. You can even look at Hendon Hooker, for example. When he first came to Tennessee, he was not really that good of a quarterback at Virginia Tech. Just was just a guy pretty much. He comes
Yeah.
to Tennessee and all of a sudden he's a Heisman hopeful.
Yeah.
So his offense is just completely friendly. So I think I can see Tennessee being a top 10 team. And like you said, I mean, you look at the top 10, I think almost dang near every team in the top 10 this year in college football could possibly win a national championship. Like it would not
Yeah.
surprise me at all if Tennessee is pulling up 11 and 1 in Atlanta and they beat somebody and be in the playoffs. It would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Just to be completely honest. So that's who I would kind of put at 10 for me at least.
Yeah. I agree. You mean 11?
Yeah,
You would
11,
put them at
11.
11.
Yeah, 11. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got hold on. So you said let me get this straight. Um so you got Tennessee at 11. You got
Yep.
did you have Texas? Where did you have Texas?
I'm gonna actually
Or,
put Texas at 12. I think Texas
okay.
will be for 12 for me. Yeah. So just
So let me
flop
get
them to that's what I would do.
okay. Let me get your list real quick because I'm writing them all down. So you had Clemson at 8, Washington at 9, Florida State at 10,
Hmm.
Tennessee at 11, Texas at 12.
Yep.
Okay. So for me at 11, I got Washington.
Hmm.
Um, that's where I'm gonna put them at. I think um I think they're probably one of the better teams in the Pac-12 if it's still whatever's left of it.
Right,
Um,
right.
whatever's left of it. But at 12, I'm actually gonna put I'm actually gonna put Notre Dame at 12
Okay.
for me.
Talk me through that.
Um,
Why do you think Notre Dame should be at 12?
so Notre Dame actually impressed me late last year in the season. They impressed me very
Mhm.
late. Did they win? They beat South Carolina in the bowl game, didn't
They
they?
beat South Carolina. They did. Hmm.
They beat South Carolina in the bowl game. They beat Clemson last year.
Yep.
Um, Notre Dame, I think they have some, momentum going into the season. I don't know what they quarterback. I don't know. Oh, they got my man from Wake Forest. They got
What's
Hartman. I
Yep.
think
Hmm.
Hartman is one of the better quarterbacks in the land. He's got a lot of experience. He's probably one of the most experienced starting quarterbacks
Yep.
in the land for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I give me Notre Dame at 12. If they was in the ACC, they would at least be the second or third best team
Yeah.
legitimately in the ACC. I think
Hmm.
Notre Dame, their defense is always solid. It's always special.
Yep.
Um, and like I said, now they have a proven quarterback. Somebody like last year, it seems like the last couple of years they've always had. Well, this guy's just our starter for now, but
Right.
we can definitely do better. You know what I'm saying? Like even
Mhm.
going back to Ian Book, like
Books.
they
Yep.
was really, he was just kind of their starter, but I think Hartman is actually a good quarterback and probably the
Yeah.
best quarterback they've had
In
in
a
years.
while. Yeah.
So I like Notre Dame at 12. Um, and you said you got who at 12? Texas?
Yeah, I had
You
Texas
got
at
Texas.
12. I think at
Okay.
13, I'm gonna go ahead and put Notre Dame for those exact reasons you just said. I
Okay,
think
yeah.
Notre Dame is actually legitimately has a quarterback for the first time. Shoot, feel like since Brady Quinn, dang near.
Yeah.
So they finally got like a actual quarterback. So I think they're gonna be really good. And if he can flourish in that offense, that would be really good for them. Their defense, like you said, Notre Dame's defense is always pretty good. Like I've
Mhm.
never disrespected that defense. They're always going to have
Mhm.
guys that are fundamentally sound, always in the right place, always doing the right things. And they might not be the most athletic, but they're gonna make the right plays
Mhm.
at the right time. Super, super, really good. DB room. I think last year they had that freshman guy. I can't think of his name right now, but he was going off on Clemson. He was a freshman. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be good, man. I think his last name might have been Armstrong. I might be tripping, but he's really good. I think Notre Dame at 13 would probably be for me at that
Did,
point.
did they bring back what's their running back name, man? Uh
Oh
Chris
yeah,
something. Wasn't it?
yeah, something with an E, wasn't it like Estime or something like that? I
I
think
don't
he went
even.
to league.
Did he go to the league? Okay. I
Yeah,
remember he was cooking he
yeah,
was cooking his last year.
yeah. He
Um
was.
yeah. So you said so that's Notre Dame at 12.
Yep,
Or excuse me, Notre Dame at
13 for me.
13. Okay.
Yep,
So for me at 13, I got Utah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think Utah, man, I think it's gonna be I think they're gonna be in the mix for the Pac-12 championship
yep.
this year. Give me Utah. They won it last year, right? Didn't
They
they
won
technically
the
end up
last
winning?
2
Yeah.
years.
Oh, really? Last 2 years. There
Yeah,
you go.
the last
So
2 years they've won it, yeah.
where they yeah, see Utah, I think they actually ranked a little low
Yeah,
um
I think
at 14.
That's what Denzel was saying earlier. He said that he
Mhm.
feels like Utah has kinda been underrated, and I'm not gonna lie, I somewhat kind of agree. I think Utah should probably be closer to that 12, 11 line,
Yeah.
10 possibly. I think they
Yeah.
should kind of be in that ballpark because for one, they have Cam Rushing. He's another veteran quarterback that's been there for a while. That defense is very solid, always has been. They got some good running backs as well. That's a team that people need to watch out for. I think they could be really good, honestly.
Yeah. They if they yeah, if they just, kind of hold it down and stay solid throughout the season. I feel like last year was a little up and down. They beat
Yeah,
some really good teams, but then they lost to excuse me, to some
yeah.
teams.
Tulane,
Like
Utah, it was
I
nasty
mean,
work.
that Florida team that they lost to early in the
Oh,
season,
you talking about
you
Utah?
know,
Oh, I thought you was talking about
yeah,
USC.
Utah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
Utah.
no,
Yeah, yeah, Florida.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that Florida game, and they got Florida again first this year,
yep.
right? Once again, yeah.
Thursday night. Yep.
So man, if I think Utah can have a solid season. I got them at 13.
Yeah.
Now at 14, I have Oregon, another
Okay.
Pac-12 team.
Okay.
Um, Bo Nix, this is your year, brother. This is your last year, and I know T. I know you don't like my man, but
Yeah.
this is his last year. Like you gotta do something this year if you even want to make the NFL. You getting a lot of first round hype, which is crazy to me. But yeah, this is your year to show the world that you can actually carry your team and that you can put Oregon into the college football playoff conversation. So I got Oregon at 14. Once again, I think last year I know they started off rough,
Yep.
but God, who was that? They got blew out by they got
Georgia.
blown out by
Georgia.
Georgia.
Georgia
My
took it.
goodness.
I was at that game. They took them boys to the woodshed, man.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. But they kind of put it together on late in the season. Um and so I will put them at 14.
Am I on 14 now? Is it my turn?
Yeah,
I'm
so
on
you
14.
had
I
you
think
had Texas at 12, Notre Dame at 13,
I
and
think
at
I'm gonna put
14.
Oregon at. I think I'm gonna have Oregon at 14 as well.
Okay.
Like you said, Bo Nix. Well, I mean, as much as I don't like him, I gotta be honest. He played really good last year. I
Yeah,
can't
he
even
did.
hate on him. I gotta be straight up. He looks a lot more like mentally prepared for when he makes mistakes, and and stuff like that he wasn't at Auburn. So I definitely would probably go ahead and put them at 14. They have a really good team. I think Dan Lannon has did a great job recruiting up there in Oregon. So yeah, I think for me, I think they did a really good job in the transfer portal too, picking up certain guys. So yeah, I would have to put them at, I would have to put them at 14 for me.
But
So yeah, I agree with you there. Who you got at 15?
so at 15, man, I'm actually gonna turn some heads with this one.
Oh
At
Lord.
15, at 15, I'm gonna put the University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wait.
I got North.
Let me make this clear again. Doug gonna love this part because he's a big Tar Heel fan. You
Oh
got the
yeah.
University of North Carolina at number 15 in the country right now.
hmm And I know
You
they defense.
gotta explain that one to me, bro.
I know their defense is trash. I know it is.
Do that one.
I know their defense is trash. But
You
once
gotta talk
again,
me through that one, bro. I'm sorry, I can't.
once again, I know their defense is trash, but they got Drake May at quarterback. Okay, Drake May is easily the second best quarterback in the land, in conversation for the first best quarterback.
Yeah.
And when we get to later on in the show, when we get to that section, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about pretty much what I think the Heisman is gonna look like this year.
Yeah.
I think North Carolina is gonna have an electric offense once again this year. I think Drake May is gonna lead them to a lot more wins. I mean, last year was his first year as a starter. You know what I'm saying? I know he's
Yeah.
going into his junior season, but I think he's gonna play smarter. You see what I'm saying? And I think he's actually going to lead the team to victories. Okay. What they finished 9-3 last year?
9-4. Yeah.
9-4. They finished 9-4 last year. No. Yeah. 9.
No, because they lost to Notre Dame, they lost to Georgia Tech, they lost to Clemson, and they lost to NC State, and they lost to Oregon. So no, they went 8-5
in the bowl
last
game.
year.
So
Yeah,
8-5 last year.
Yep.
8-5 last year. I think they're gonna go. I think they're gonna get 9 wins this year. Honestly, I think they in conference. They might mess around and get 10. Okay.
Whew.
I know it's tough.
Man, you hot taking
I
me
know
to
it's
death
tough.
right now.
I know it's tough, but I think North Carolina. I think they're gonna be a really good team. I think they're gonna finish third in the ACC. I think they have a chance to make it back to the ACC championship game. I
Okay,
think they have a chance.
I gotta go over this schedule.
Okay. Yeah, pull up the schedule. Let's pull up the schedule.
I gotta pull it up on my phone. I'm gonna pull. So North Carolina plays South Carolina. I think we kind of agree on that. I think that's a toss-up game. I think that can go either way. App State, you know what I'm saying? I think they should win that game. App State's not what they used to be. Minnesota, I'll probably lean Tar Heels on that game as well. That game's in North Carolina. I can see them winning that. Pitt, that's one of those games that can really just go either way. Syracuse, they should beat. I'm not going to lie. They should beat Syracuse. I'll go ahead and say it. Miami, they should beat. That should be a win. Virginia, they're definitely going to beat. That should be a win. Georgia Tech has beat them now 2 years in a row, has had their number. I'm not guaranteeing that as a win for me. And it's in Atlanta where they struggle to get a win. Now, they should win that game.
Yeah, they should win it.
But I don't think they're going to win it because Georgia Tech has had their number. Then they play Campbell. Obviously, that's a dub. Duke this is not your old Duke, guys. This is a good Duke team. They should have lost to them last year. This game is in Carolina, though. So that could go either way, but Carolina probably should win that game. Then they play Clemson at Clemson. I don't think they're winning that game. Then they play NC State, another team that has had their number for the last decade pretty much. And it's at State. I'm probably going with NC State on that game. So how many games I guarantee they probably should win?
So on mine, like when I counted it up, I had 10.
So you saying 10?
Yeah.
I think 9 is possible for Carolina. I think it's possible. Now, will it happen? I don't know, but I think it's possible.
I think the only 3 losses on there, like 3 potential. So Clemson and North Carolina State were my 2 losses. So I thought they was actually going to start 10-0 from based off the ones you just said. Because I think that South Carolina game, I think North Carolina should win that game. because they just have a better off. They just play. They have a
They
better.
do have a better offense.
They just
I
have a
do
better
agree.
offense. They
Yeah.
should it unless South Carolina actually just locks that offense up. I don't see them outscoring North Carolina. Like I think it should be a shootout. I think North Carolina should win shootouts. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you got, like I said, when you have pretty much arguably pretty much the best quarterback on the East Coast, the
Yeah.
best quarterback on the east side of the country, you should win every single shootout that you win. You should win every single shootout. So I would say North Carolina should. They have a chance to start 10-0 in my opinion. I know it's tough, but like you said,
Man.
if they tighten up, if they beat Georgia Tech, Miami, Duke, all those games where they defense basically lost in the game,
Yeah.
or basically, you see what I'm saying? If they
Yep.
just tighten up just a little bit, they just get a little bit better. We're looking at a team that goes 9-3, 10-2, and sitting in the ACC championship game for a second year in a row.
Yeah.
If you want to, if we want to, bring up Florida State schedule too, if
Okay.
you
So
can.
I got Florida State schedule pulled up right here. So Florida State plays LSU. I think they lose that game personally, but
That's
it
a
doesn't
loss.
matter on the conference side. Then they play Southern Miss, should be a dub. Then they play Boston College, should be a dub. Then they have the big showdown in Clemson. I think that's a loss for Florida State personally.
Yeah.
Then they play Virginia Tech, should be a dub. Then they play Syracuse, should be a dub. Then they play Duke. I think that game's going to be a lot closer than what people are probably going to give it credit for. You know what I'm saying? Then they play Wake Forest at Wake. That probably should be a dub. Then they play Pitt once again. Should be a dub. Then they play Miami, which is their last conference game. Should be a dub. Notre Dame, and then they play North Alabama. Should be a dub. And they play Florida, which is another non-conference game. Should be a dub. So they can still technically win. Like they was in second place. Is what I'm saying.
And so that's the tough thing about Florida State is because they have really good out of conference games that they can actually lose. You see what I'm saying? But the conference schedule that they have
is easy.
Is
Besides
pretty
Clemson,
much.
If they can get past Clemson, Florida State should go undefeated. Really, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
If they can get past Clemson, that schedule
that's tough.
Really
though. That's tough. You said they play Duke, right? They got Duke and Wake.
Yep.
Okay. They got Duke and Wake Forest. See, I don't know what Wake Forest looking like this year.
Wake Forest is unknown. Nobody really knows what they're going to look like with Mitch Griffiths. Nobody really knows what to expect from them at this point. Nobody does.
Yeah.
So I think Wake Forest is a big unknown at this point.
Yeah. If Wake Forest is the Wake Forest that we've seen like the last 2 years, if they just anything remotely close to that, I think that Florida State game gonna be a trap.
Yeah, it could.
I think it's gonna be a trap because they almost beat Clemson last year in the shootout.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
it definitely could.
I think.
And I mean, Florida State just lost to Wake last year, so I mean.
Well, there you go, right there. See, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm high on North Carolina. I know having them at 15 is really high.
That threw off the whole schedule of the podcast.
Yeah.
You said that.
I think that offense, man. I think they actually gonna be special this year. So give me North Carolina at 15. Who you got at 15?
Not North Carolina. I can tell you that. Sorry, Doug. I'm not gonna make you happy. Not North Carolina. Let's make this kind of quick because we spent so much time on that. I'm gonna have Kansas State at number 15. I like them a lot.
Okay. Bring up the
okay, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, please. Okay. Yep. So you got K-State at 15. I'm actually gonna put let me put TCU at 16.
Okay.
So yeah.
At 16 for me, I'm actually gonna go TCU as well. I like them at 16. Okay. Yep.
17, I'm gonna go K-State.
So at 17 for me, I just went K-State. So I'm actually gonna go Oregon State at 17.
Okay. Oregon State. Actually, I made a mistake. At 17, let me put Oklahoma. Or excuse me, at 16, let me put Oklahoma. I meant to put them there. Yeah.
Cam, you hot. Wait. Let's bring off camera. Hold on. So you put
Oklahoma there.
You put Oklahoma where now?
I'm gonna put TCU at 16. Oklahoma, or excuse me, K-State at 17. And you got Oregon State. Oklahoma at 18.
So you're okay. Talk me through the Oklahoma at 18 thing. This, I'm not understanding that one.
So Oklahoma, in my opinion, how does the Big 12 championship work? It's a free for all, right?
Well,
'Cause
they got those
they
new teams in there this year, so I don't know if they still have divisions or not. I'm not
okay.
sure if they still have.
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if they still have divisions.
so this is year 2 of Brent Venables? 3?
Oh, it's free for all. It's free for all.
It's
You're
free.
right.
I
Yep.
thought it was. Okay, yeah.
Yep. It's free for
It's year
all.
2, right? For of
Yep.
under
This is year
Brent
two.
Venables.
Yep. Yep.
Dylan Gabriel still their quarterback, right?
Yep.
Um, that's pretty much my rationale behind it, man. They just returning, they just getting better. I know last year was a tough year for last year was tough. Last
Yeah.
year was tough.
Yeah.
Like that was tough. But at the same time, I just feel like, to me, I feel like it's more of a shock, in my opinion, to have TCU at 16 for me and for you
Mhm.
because they got absolutely shellacked last year and they lost a lot
Yeah, they
this year.
did lose a lot, but
You
they've
know what
done a
I'm saying?
good job in the transfer portal too. That's why I have them at 16. They
Yeah,
took a lot from Alabama. I
yeah.
think they got JoJo Earl. I think he ended up going to there. I think
Okay,
they got Brock Meyer. They've got a couple guys from
okay,
Alabama that they took from their roster and put over at
okay.
TCU. I don't think TCU's fall is going to be as bad. And Sonny Dykes is just a great
Astronomical.
coach too.
Yeah,
I don't think their fall is going to be as bad as everybody. I think some people think TCU is going to completely fall off the earth and be like a top
a
45 team.
scrub.
I don't see
Yeah,
them like that. I think they're going to
yeah,
still be a top 17, 18 or so team, in my
yeah.
opinion. So where am I at now on my rankings?
You on eight? You at 18? So I say Oklahoma at 18.
Who did
You
I
at
put at
18?
who did I put at 17? I had Oregon State, correct?
Oregon State. Yeah.
So at 18, I'm gonna go ahead and put Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's gonna be really good under Phil Longo. So go ahead and give me them at 18.
Pull it back up real quick for me.
Yep, got you.
Appreciate it. Um, trying to think who all I missed. Mm, let me do Wisconsin as well. Matter of fact,
Okay.
that's Big Ten. Yeah, let me put it. Let me do Wisconsin. Because the Big Ten they actually do divisions.
They still have divisions.
But
Yeah.
but Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all in the same
All in the
division,
same
right?
one. Correct.
Yeah. So Wisconsin should actually be in the Big Ten championship this year.
Exactly. They should. Yeah.
Um. So yeah, I like that. Wisconsin at 19 for me. Who you got at 19?
So have I picked I picked Oregon State. I put them at
You got Oregon State at 17.
17. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So now I'm at 19, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So at 19, I'm actually gonna go I'm gonna go Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is gonna kind of be an underrated sleeper team this year. I think they're gonna be really good. They got that running back, Junkins. I think he's a really good
Oh
player.
yeah. Yeah.
I think they're gonna be really good. So I got them at 19.
So let me ask you too about Ole Miss real quick.
Yep.
Quarterback. Is it
Yep.
Sanders or is it
So I
Dart?
believe I so I would guess Dart is going to be their starting quarterback going into the season. I think Sanders is actually a better quarterback, if that makes sense. But I think Dart kind of knows the offense better because he's been there longer. But
Yeah.
I do think Spencer Sanders is actually a better quarterback than him,
Okay.
in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, get at 20, give me Oregon State.
Okay.
Yeah, give me Oregon State. I mean, they got DJU, but we'll see how that goes. So give me
Yep.
give me Oregon State at 20. Who you got?
So at 20, I got Oklahoma.
Okay. 21. Let me get the University of South Carolina
Okay. Talk me
at
through that one a
21.
little bit. So you put South Carolina at 21. I kind of agree in some shape or form. I do think South Carolina should be ranked, especially
They
after the
should
way
be ranked.
especially
Yeah,
after the way they
they,
ended their season last year. They should be ranked.
they should be ranked. The way they ended that season last year, man, big wins against Tennessee, uh, Clemson. You know what I'm saying? Like just huge,
Yeah.
huge program changing wins. Like
Yep.
legitimately, like South Carolina was like Spencer Rattler, tough. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was a rough year for him up until that Tennessee game. And then he just turned it around. And when you look at his season stats, you might think, oh, he had a really good year. Nah, he just turned it on the last 3, 4, 5 games of the season. So South Carolina, they returning quite a bit. Defensively, I think they have a lot to be excited for.
Yeah.
Um, they're solid. They're always going to be solid for some reason. Somehow they always got
Yeah, their run
cornerback.
defense. Yeah, their run defense
Yeah,
sucks though, but their cornerbacks are always
yeah,
decent.
always
Yeah.
going to be good. So I think South Carolina offensively, I think you got a veteran quarterback in Rattler. You got Juice Wells, who to me is one of the better gadget players in the
Yeah.
country, wide
Mhm.
receivers in the country.
Yep.
Um, Running back room is solid. So give me South Carolina at 21. I feel like, excuse me, I feel like just based off of what they did last year and the momentum that they have going into this year, they should have been
Mhm.
ranked.
Yeah, I agree. At 21 for me, I'm gonna put Chapel Hill there, kind of for the same reasons you said earlier. They have the best quarterback on the East Coast. I don't think nobody's really gonna argue that at
Yeah.
this point. So I'll put them at 21.
Okay. 22. Pull it back up for me. But
Yep,
I got
got you.
Tulane at 22.
So you got Tulane at 22. Okay. So at
Yeah.
22 for me, I'm actually gonna go the route you just went. I do think South Carolina should be ranked, and this is where I would rank them right behind Carolina. I think they would be 22 in my opinion. Juice Wells is an absolute stud. I know people think I'm a hater because I'm a Clemson fan, but I'm also a realist. South Carolina, they're building something. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's going
They
to
got a
be
solid
like
team.
national championship wise, well built, but they're building something that could be something. I'm not even going to hold you.
Yeah.
They have a really good running back in Juju McDowell. Wide receivers, like I said, Juice Wells, Spencer Rattler really has stepped up. A lot of stuff out of Columbia is saying he looks even better now. If they can get that defense together, like run defense mainly, they might can be something. So I'm gonna put them right
Yeah.
there, right behind Carolina.
Let me ask you this too. Jaheim Bell, did he go to Florida State?
Florida State. Yep.
Yeah. And he was from South. Yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
He a problem too.
Yeah.
23, 23. I got Ole Miss. Um, Same reason why you said
Yeah.
solid team experience. Quarterback situation for me, the reason why they a little bit lower because I just don't know who it's gonna be.
Yep.
But like you said, it's probably gonna be dark to start the season. But Sanders been in college for about 6, 7 years now.
Yeah.
He might mess
Yeah.
around and take the job. Pull up
Right.
the list for me again, real quick.
Yep. Gotcha.
Um, and then so you on 23 now.
Yep. So for 23, I'm taking Tulane. I think Tulane is probably the best Power Five team in the country right now. A group of five,
Hmm.
excuse me, team in the
Hmm.
country. They bring back their coach, who I thought was going to Georgia Tech. I thought he was out of there in Billy Fritz. So I think they're going to be pretty good this year as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put them at number 23.
Okay. 24. Give me. Uh, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? I'ma just say Kansas
Okay.
because I like what they did last
I
year, the
don't
first
think that's
6
as
games of
crazy
the
as
season.
people are gonna hear this and they're probably gonna slander you for that take.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a horrible take though. I really
Yeah, I
don't.
think they
With
first
bringing
6 games
Jalen
of the
Daniels
season.
back too, I think
Yeah,
they're gonna be okay.
yeah, exactly. They first 6 games of the season last year showed me with Jalen Daniels, showed me what they should be this year.
Yeah.
So I think Kansas is gonna be solid.
Nah.
Give me Kansas at 24.
So at
7
24,
wins.
yeah, I can see that. 24 for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put Texas Tech there. I think Texas Tech could
Okay.
be really good this year. I think they showed a lot of bright flashes last year. So yeah, for me, I would put Texas Tech at 24.
Okay. Um, Imma put, man, I'm thinking about this. I don't know, bro, because 25 is tough because this is really your
Yeah.
friends' team. They barely holding on to a spot. You know what? Imma just say it. I think Duke actually the 25th best team in the country.
I
Give me
don't think
Duke.
that's crazy, bro. I don't
Yeah,
once again,
give
that's
me
not a
Duke.
horrible take. I wouldn't put them at 25, but that's not crazy, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
think Duke is gonna be really good. Riley
yeah,
Leonard is a really good quarterback. I think he's an NFL caliber quarterback, in my opinion.
yeah.
I think Duke is I think people are sleeping on Duke. I think people that
Mhm,
think this is the old days Duke, that they think this is their older brothers Duke, and it's not. Mike Elko probably should have won Coach of the Year last year. He
mhm,
took a team that was 3-9 and flipped it around and made them go 9-3. It's pretty
mhm.
amazing. At a
Yep,
school that's not known for winning football games. So for
yep.
me, I think Duke at 25 is not really that ridiculous. I think it's actually a pretty good take. I wouldn't do it, but I can understand why you have that logic of taking them at 25 because I probably would do the same.
Yeah. Who you got at
Um,
25?
so for me, 25, I'm not putting A&M in there. I just don't believe in them. And Iowa has no offense, so I'm not putting them in there either. Give me UCLA at 25. I know they lost a
Okay,
lot. I think UCLA is still a
okay.
good team. I believe in Dante Moore. This is the most talented. I think me and you might have talked about this a couple months ago. This is probably the most talented quarterback that Chip Kelly has ever had that he's actually recruited.
Okay.
So I would put UCLA at number 25 in my opinion.
Okay. I like that.
Yep.
So just to run through it real quick, and then we'll move on to lastly, probably after this we can move on to conference championship
Yep.
predictions. Does that work?
Yep.
And then maybe and then we might be able to squeeze in Heisman predictions too.
Yep.
But so let me read our top 25 real quick. So this is the Cam and T podcast top 25. So Cam has Georgia at 1, T has Georgia at 1. We both have Michigan at 2. We both have Ohio State at 3, and we
Yep.
both have LSU at 4.
Yep.
At 5 is where we start differ. At 5, Cam has USC, T has Alabama. At 6, Cam has Alabama, T has USC. 7, we both have Penn State. 8, we both have Clemson. 9, Cam has Florida State, T has Washington. 10, Cam has Tennessee, T has Florida State. 11, Cam has Washington, T has Tennessee. 12, Cam has Notre Dame, T has Texas. Oh man, I just realized I didn't rank Texas at all. Uh, and Cam at 13 has Utah, T has Notre Dame. We both have Oregon at 14. Cam has North Carolina, Tar Heels at 15. T has Kansas State at 15. We both have TCU at 16. Cam has Kansas State at 17. T has Oregon State at 17. Cam has Oklahoma at 18, and T has Wisconsin. Cam has Wisconsin at 19, and T has Ole Miss at 19. Cam has Oregon State at 20, and T has Oklahoma. Cam has North Carolina at 21. T has South Carolina. Excuse me. Cam has South Carolina at 21. T has North Carolina at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Cam has Tulane at 22. T has South Carolina at 22. Cam has Ole Miss at 23. T has Tulane at 23. And Cam has Kansas at 24. T has Texas Tech. And at 25, Cam has Duke. And T has UCLA.
Yeah.
So I think we got a really good top
I,
25.
I think so
Um,
too.
I left off Texas. If I were to put them anywhere, I would have probably put them. They wouldn't have been as high to me though. I probably slid them. I would have probably slid them down to like 17, and moved everybody else down one. So Duke would have fell out, and
Yeah.
Kansas would have been at 25. I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't ever believe in Texas. That's all that
Yeah.
really is for me.
Yeah. I about to say you
But
haven't been big on Texas the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah. But I do understand why they are ranked high. Quarterback wise, Quinn Ewers is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Hudson Card he transferred where?
Purdue. He's at Purdue now.
Okay, he's at Purdue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think ultimately, yeah, let's just move on real quick to
Yeah. Yeah. Let's
let's
go
move
ahead and
on if
jump
we
into.
can
So let's go
conference
ahead.
championships.
Yeah,
If
conference championships. Yep. So
okay,
let's
so
go ahead and jump into that. Do you want to go ahead? You can go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, let me start. Let's start with the conference that our team is part of,
Yep.
the ACC.
Yep.
So I will say for me, I have, and you probably agree, but I think the ACC championship game this year is going to be the best championship game we've seen in God in
Long time.
yeah.
It's been a
I
long
would
time.
I would make the argument. I think this is going to be the best conference championship ever for the ACC.
It's
I got
definitely
Clemson and
one
Florida
of them.
State.
Yep.
I got Clemson and Florida State. I think this is going to be the biggest conference championship game because we're the best two teams in the conference, hands down, all time. And this is the first time, to my knowledge, that we face each other in a conference
Yeah, I think
championship.
this is the first time ever.
And this
Possibly.
should be the first time that we play each other twice in a year. So
Yep.
Clemson, Florida State, ACC championship game with Clemson winning.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I got Clemson and Florida State off rip. I think it's a close game. Give me Clemson, Florida State. Give me Clemson in that game, though. 35-28.
Okay, good. 35-28. I would say, mm, give me, we'll do, yeah, 35-28. Yeah, I do the same.
Okay.
Let's go SEC.
Okay.
Um, go ahead. You got it.
Okay. So for the SEC, for me, this is going to upset some people. I don't think Alabama gets there this year. I don't think Alabama makes it to Atlanta. I think it's going to be the LSU Tigers that make it to Atlanta. And y'all already know Georgia's going to be there. And to be honest, I could see both of those teams pulling up undefeated there.
Yep.
Personally, I could see it. So for me, If Georgia and LSU play tomorrow in Atlanta, I'm tempted to go LSU, bro. And I'm gonna tell you
Mm,
why. Because Georgia, they're gonna go undefeated on their schedule. They're
mm-hmm,
gonna go undefeated and they can lose to LSU as long as it's close. They're getting in. They're
mm-hmm.
getting in. Those kids know that. Those coaches know that. They know that. I'm tempted to say if LSU pulls up, maybe they have one loss to somebody. I don't know. They do play Florida State. They do play Alabama at Alabama. I probably will say I think Georgia is going to be the SEC champions, but it would not surprise me at all if LSU wins it. But I think we do get Georgia LSU in the championship here in Atlanta. And I think Georgia wins on the likes of 21-20 or something like
Yeah,
that. I think it's a
yeah.
close game.
I actually agree with you. That's who I had on mine. I had Georgia and LSU.
Yep.
Um, Alabama, they got to figure out. They got to figure out that quarterback situation. I don't think they're really confident about it.
Nope, they're not.
So I got Georgia LSU as well, and I would take Georgia. Just to be on the safe side, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
would say Georgia wins. I do think it's gonna be a close game, 23-20, something like that. And I don't think it's gonna be something crazy score. I think it's gonna be a nice defensive matchup, and some really good plays by Jaden Daniels, for or Jaden Daniel for LSU, and
Mhm.
then Brock Bowers, Georgia tight end. So,
Yep.
uh, so let's move on real quick to let's go to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and for me in the Big Ten this year, I'm actually going for a rematch of last year, which I believe was Michigan and Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. And so give me Michigan and Wisconsin. I think Michigan. I hate to say it. I know people gonna hear this and be like, "Oh, you just salty from the loss that we gave y'all last time." I think Michigan owns Ohio State right now, and it's
I
been
mean,
2 years.
it's hard to argue that
It's
right now with,
it's
the
yeah,
last 2 years, it's
yeah.
kind of hard
I
to.
I think Michigan has a shot to make it to the college football championship game, not just the playoff, but the actual championship game this time. They shouldn't have lost to TCU last year, to be honest with you. Um, but I think they're gonna make the championship game this year. Give me Michigan, Wisconsin. I don't think it's gonna be that close. I think it's gonna be like 49-27 or something like that. I don't think it's gonna be a close game.
Yeah. So last year, Michigan actually played Purdue in the
Oh, it's Purdue.
yeah, it was Purdue. Yeah.
Okay.
So I do agree with you with the same two teams. I do think Wisconsin gets there this year. I think now that they're going to an air raid type offense with Phil Longo, I think that actually could help them. To be honest, I think that's going to attract more recruits. It's going to be able to
Yeah.
spread them out. They already have a good O line, so they O line going to be able to block. We already know them boys up there in Wisconsin can block. So I could definitely see it being a conference championship game of Michigan versus Wisconsin, but I do have Michigan winning again and finding themselves in the playoffs again for the third straight
Yeah.
year in a row. I would have Michigan winning pretty big too, probably like 43 to 15 or 14, something like that. I think they win
Yeah.
pretty big for Wisconsin.
I think that's gonna be a blowout. I think, yeah. Let's move on to the Big 12.
Yep.
Um, so for me, the Big 12, since it's a free for all this year, I actually have Texas in there. So I know I just said I didn't have them ranked, but
Mhm.
I do have Texas in there, and then I got Oklahoma. I think
Okay.
Texas and Oklahoma gonna be the Big 12 championship, and that's no disrespect to is it TCU, K State? No
Mhm.
disrespect to them. But like I said, I am higher than most on Oklahoma because I believe in Brent Venables in his second year. Um, and then Texas kind of just they should be the best team in the conference right now.
So this is gonna be the first time we disagree on teams, man. I actually have Kansas State and Texas in the Big
Hmm.
12 championship. I think Texas is gonna be better than what they've been. I think they're gonna be better this year. I'm really a big believer in what's my guy Xavier Worthy. He doesn't get enough talk about as a really good wide receiver. I like Quinn Ewers, as you said, but I think Kansas State is another team that kind of gets slept on nationally, and I really could see that being the conference championship, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you got Texas, K State. I got
Mm-hmm.
Texas, Oklahoma. What's your score prediction for that one? I forgot to
So
say
I
mine.
would probably go. For me, I probably will go Kansas State. I still think Kansas
Okay.
State is a really good team. I think I can see them pulling off the upset. I know I had Texas ranked higher. I can see Kansas State pulling off the upset. Give me Kansas State 28-24.
Okay. K State won it last year, right?
They
They
did.
beat yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um give me Texas for the first time in a minute, 28-21 over
Okay.
Oklahoma. And then last but certainly not least, the Pac-12 or whatever
Yeah.
it's called now.
Yeah, I'm about to say the last year of Pac-12 football, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You go ahead first. Give me
So for
your
me, the Pac-12, I think Utah comes out because they really are the most dominant on their side of the bracket. So I think
mhm.
Utah definitely comes out. And I've been battling. I've been telling people on TikTok. I think Washington is just as good as USC, man. I really
Wow.
do. I think they could be right up there with them. But I am gonna go USC. But I would not be surprised if Washington gets there either. But I would say USC versus Utah, and I think Utah gets USC again this
Again.
year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Utah wins again for the third year in a row. Give me Utah 43-38.
Do they play in the regular season?
I believe they do. Let me check here, but I believe they do play during the season. But I actually have Utah winning that conference again. So they do. They play in Southern Cal on the 21st. Yep.
That's crazy. They
Yep.
played each other twice last year, right?
Yep.
And Utah won. Utah
Won
won both
both of
games.
them. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shoot. Hey, Utah, man. I got the same. I got USC and Utah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not really much to say. I mean, same two teams as last year. I
Yep.
think Caleb Williams. I think he actually gets over the hump this time, and I
Yep.
think he pushes USC into the college football playoff with a victory. So give me USC over Utah. Give me I'm gonna say it's gonna be a shootout, man. Let me get 42. Excuse me. Let me get 49-42.
Yep. Okay. That's I could see something like that because I think both of their games last year were pretty high scoring too. Like the one
Yeah,
they had in Utah was like 42-41 or something like that, and then the one they played in the conference
championship game.
championship was high scoring as well.
Yeah,
So I could definitely see something like that. Last thing, Heisman. Who do you have
okay.
winning the Heisman? For me, man, I'm going with Caleb Williams. I still think he might be the first quarterback that can go back to back with it. I think he's just so talented. He reminds people a lot of Patrick Mahomes, which I think is going to help him when it comes to Heisman time. If they are looking at like a 10-1 season at the end of the season, or 11-1, close to that, whatever, before the UCLA game, and then he puts on a show in the UCLA game and gets them to 11-1, I think he runs it back. I think he might win both years, like back to
Yeah.
back.
So I actually have I'm gonna list my top like 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in 4th place would be Blake Corum, Michigan. Um, I just think Michigan, they're gonna put somebody up there from Michigan. It's probably gonna be him.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't be surprised if even Donovan Edwards made it up there for them.
yeah,
I think Michigan's gonna have
both
somebody.
really good. Yeah, both
Yeah,
really good running
I
backs.
think they're gonna have somebody in that Heisman ceremony. Jordan Travis is gonna finish 3rd place in my opinion, Florida State. I actually have Caleb Williams finishing 2nd.
Okay.
Because I just find it hard to believe they're gonna give it to somebody 2 years in a row. They always
Yeah.
gonna find something. You know how they
Mm-hmm.
do. But I think Drake May is gonna win the Heisman this year from North Carolina.
Woo!
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I got
So
Drake
you're
May
just
winning the
really
Heisman.
high on North Carolina this year.
Yeah, at least it's their offense. I mean, I think Drake May. Once again, I think, in my opinion, he has to live up to the hype this year
Yeah.
because that showing that he had against Clemson got a lot of people thinking that he's actually not that good,
I
which
mean,
is crazy to me.
the last 4 weeks, he struggled against
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, he struggled against NC State, he struggled against Clemson, and he struggled against Oregon. So I mean,
So
the
they
points are kind of in a
they
way
ch- they
valid.
yeah. I see what you're saying. They trying to say that he probably got figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think he's going to live up to the hype this season, and I think he's going to win a Heisman this year.
Mm.
I have Drake May. Well, at least right now in preseason hype, I got Drake May winning the Heisman, but it could change throughout the season, and it
Woo!
probably will.
You had some hot takes today, brother. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie to
man.
you.
Yeah,
You
man.
had some hot takes today. We're not doing the draft today, you guys, because It's
Yeah.
all we already done ran way. We always say we're gonna do a shorter podcast, and it ended up being
They being the longest one, man. Telling
bro.
you, boy.
That's hilarious, bro. But no, when you put North Carolina at 14, I had to talk that one through. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, hold on, what? But no,
Yeah,
man, another good podcast, man. Another good episode, man. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, man, at the Cam and T Podcast. Subscribe to us on or follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on all that. Link is in the bio and all of our social medias. So definitely go follow us there. But man, another good episode, man. And next week, Cam, we'll be talking about games, bro, like actually
Thank
taking
God.
place. So next week, when we come in here, we'll be talking about, okay, we got USC and San Jose State. What happened? It's just kind of good that we actually have games, and then we'll be previewing college football next week with actual games that will be happening. So this is really the last kind of like chill where we got to kind of make up what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
This is the last episode of that. Like we're going to have content from here going forward really to February.
February, man.
And really on into basketball season. So
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's boy, we almost there, man. Appreciate it, Doug. And everybody watching, man. Shout out to y'all. As always, this is fun. I think this is probably one of the funnest ones, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
Sure,
I like going through that top 25 that we did. But ultimately, man, I'm excited. It's gonna be a great season.
Yep.
I can't wait to get into the college football things. I can't wait till we do, because like upcoming. So this season, what we're gonna do? So weekly, we're going to be giving kind of rankings of power rankings, award rankings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like this year, so today we did a whole top 25. Probably won't do that again until maybe later on in the season. When college football playoff time comes, but we'll do maybe a weekly top 5 or top 10. We'll do a weekly, Heisman ranking list. We might do best team in the conference, every week or something like that. So we're gonna keep it going, man. TikTok, we just grossed over a million likes.
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all.
This is crazy.
1 million likes on TikTok is crazy, bro. Shout out to y'all, man.
So so we're gonna keep it going as always. Subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, follow on all platforms.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. Another great episode. Like I said, I just want to give a schedule update again. In 2 weeks, we will be in Charlotte for the North Carolina, South Carolina game. So we'll be out there in Charlotte. If you're out there, come up and talk to us. We definitely gonna be there asking questions similar to what we did in Spartanburg. It'll be more college football centric. So definitely pull up if you're in Charlotte. Then the week after that, we'll be in Atlanta at the Falcons against Panthers game down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium doing the same thing. So we're extremely excited. We got a lot of good stuff coming for y'all this week, this year, really.
Yeah.
We got a sponsorship coming that we're super excited about, telling y'all about soon. And once again, shout out to y'all because we wouldn't have had that sponsorship without y'all like really rocking with us, honestly. So shout out to y'all. And man, just another good episode, man. Cam, is there anything else you wanted to say? All right, man. Once again, great episode. We'll see you guys next week, and we will actually be talking about football games. So we're extremely excited. We thank y'all for all the support and love. Peace out. We love y'all.